Hello, my name is Chris, and today I want to tell you about the time that I got really fat. No, okay, what I want to talk about is the thing that worries a lot of us when we are quitting smoking, which is gaining weight. I want to share with you the real reason why I gained so much weight when I quit smoking, the mistakes that led to that weight gain, why I made the mistakes and why you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. And I feel this is important because for so many of us, weight gain when quitting smoking is a real concern. In fact, I know people who have put off quitting smoking because they're worried about how much weight they might gain. Or for some of us, it may be that we quit smoking and then after time we start to notice that we're getting a little chunky, or that our pants just don't quite fit as well as they used to. And that starts to freak us out a little. In fact, it freaks us out a lot. So much so that we feel the need to change the way we feel. And how do we change the way we feel? For so many of us, we revert to default and pick up a cigarette. But we don't have to do that. The good news, and as I say often, with quitting smoking there is always good news. The good news is that gaining weight is not essential for quitting smoking. We don't have to do it. Yes, I gained a lot of weight when I quit smoking. My weight ballooned. But over time I've learned why that was, and I'm going to share that with you today. Quite often I make these videos and I tell you about the things that worked for me to help me become smoke-free. But I also tell you about the things that didn't work, the mistakes I made and the lessons learned. And that is one of those videos that I'm making today. So if you're a little bit concerned about gaining weight, or maybe you've already started to gain weight, this might be the video for you. So, before we dive into the reason why I gained a lot of weight, let's talk about the reason why most people gain just a little bit of weight when they're quitting smoking. Let's dive into the science stuff and let's talk about metabolism. Smoking has been shown to increase metabolism, which means that calories are burned faster in smokers than in non-smokers. Now before you start thinking, well, I could do with losing a pound or two, I'll go and pick up a cigarette. Please know that smoking is not a good tool for weight loss, because the way that it increases metabolism is by clogging up the blood vessels and putting pressure on the heart and causing all kinds of long-term damage, which far outweighs the few small benefits of maybe shedding a pound or two. But what it means is that when we quit smoking, we burn calories slower than we used to. And because we burn calories slower than we used to, we don't actually need as many of them to sustain ourselves. We can actually consume fewer calories and be quite healthy. But we quit smoking and we don't make any adjustments to our diet or to our lifestyle. We keep consuming the same amount of calories as when we smoked. And because they're taking longer to burn, we gain a small amount of weight. At most, I've been reading that most people at a maximum will gain roughly 10 or 11 pounds. And to some that may seem quite high, but trust me, with a few small lifestyle tweaks, with just swapping a few fatty foods for fruit and vegetables, with just taking a walk every now and again, that 10-11 pounds can shift quite quickly. But for me, I gained a lot more than 11 pounds, and it had very little to do with metabolism and everything to do with trying to change the way I felt and simply substituting cigarettes for food. I've shared in many videos that the reason I used to smoke and the reason that many people smoked is because we don't like the way we feel and we set out to change the way we feel, even though we don't often realise that the reason we feel so lousy in the first place is because of the withdrawals from the last cigarette, and then we have another cigarette to relieve those withdrawals, and that just makes us feel lousy again, and we get stuck in that endless trap of addiction. So for me, I had the lousy feelings that were caused by smoking, but I also had a lot of deep underlying stuff going on that I just wasn't addressing. I've shared in other videos how I battled depression pretty much from being about 15, 16 years old. You know, I've had anxieties and fears and things that have upset me or worried me, and I build all this up and have all these inner conflicts and these inner turmoils and this inner pain that I just wasn't addressing. I've shared before about a concept, I always call it the aching void. Other people might call it a hole in the soul. It's just like an emptiness that is painful, like something's missing, something's empty, something's incomplete in my life. And I would try to fill this aching void and to numb the pain and to block out the depression and to block out whatever I was feeling with substances and chemicals, whether that was booze or cigarettes or food. It doesn't surprise me that the 3 times in my life when I have gained the most amount of weight are when I was getting over my addiction to alcohol and when I was getting sober and recovering, when I quit smoking, and when I was in the depths of my, what I call my suicidal depression, when every day I thought I was going to kill myself. Those were the 3 big instances in my life when I gained the most amount of weight. Because for a long time I was trying to numb this internal pain and to block out deep-seated issues from childhood with alcohol. And then when I got rid of the alcohol, I still had all these issues, plus I was withdrawing. So I started smoking more and eating more, and I gained weight. Then I got rid of the cigarettes, but I still had all these issues, and now I couldn't block them out with cigarettes either, so I started eating even more, and I put on so much weight. So for years, all I was basically doing was substituting one thing for another, replacing one addiction for another. For years, I was going through this process of what was basically self-abuse without ever addressing the reason why. Like, why do I feel so bad and why do I hate myself so much that I would deliberately choose to cause myself so much physical long-term damage, pain and suffering by smoking and eating and, you know, earlier drinking? Why would I choose to do that just in order to feel differently from the pain that I normally feel? It made no sense, and yet I never addressed it. It's like when I was younger, I had appendicitis, and until they figured out what was going on, they kept giving me pain medication and trying to look after me to try and just numb the pain for a little bit. And it helped for a little while, but the pain and the problem was still there, so the pain kept flaring back up again. And it was only when the doctors actually went deep inside and removed my appendix that pain went away. So I realised that I had to do the same thing with this aching void, this pain, depression, low self-esteem that I was going through. If I was ever going to be happy, healthy, on a long-term sustainable basis, I had to dive deep and figure out what was actually causing that pain and not just keep numbing it. Over the past year, I've lost over 40 pounds in weight, and I'm only just getting started. I'll share with you at the end of this video a little before and after picture, just because I'm quite proud of it. Yeah, so I've lost all that weight. I feel happier, healthier, more alive than I've ever felt before. I have more energy, I have more peace, more contentment than I've ever done at any other point in my life. And it isn't a coincidence that all of this, the weight loss, the happiness, the contentment, it isn't a coincidence that all of this came about when I started to really dive deep into what was going on, to look at my depression, to look at my self-esteem, to stop neglecting my emotional well-being, to start taking better care of my mental health. When I started taking better care of my mental health, my physical health and all other aspects of my life started to improve straight away. So, if you find yourself in a similar situation where you think maybe you're using food as a substitute for cigarettes, using food to numb some deeper pain or some deeper problem, it's time to be kind to yourself. I'm going to share with you just quickly a few things that helped me to stop doing that, to stop using food as a substitute and to stop using food to numb a deeper pain. What I had to do was to learn to stop reacting on instinct and start acting with intention. What I mean by that is I would feel bad and my natural instinct would be to run to the fridge and just grab some food and nom 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 and num num num, just numb that pain. Instead, what I learned to do is I would find myself at the fridge door, and instead of just naturally reacting and grabbing food and eating it without thinking, to pause and ask myself some serious questions. I would pause, take a deep breath and create some space between my initial thought of if I'm going to eat and the actual action that I'm going to take. And in that space, once I've paused and created that space, I can ask myself, look, is this really what I want to do? Is this really what's going to help me? Why am I reaching for this food in the first place? If the only reason I'm reaching for food right now is because I'm withdrawing from cigarettes or I'm craving a cigarette, then is eating junk food or sugary food going to do me as much good as going for a walk or taking some exercise or just getting some fresh air and sunshine, or going watching my video on how to deal with smoking withdrawals? Probably not. Probably going for a walk and sunshine and doing more positive things are going to be better for me than eating this food. So I'll close the fridge door and I'll go and do something else instead. I could ask myself, well, okay, it's not because, I don't think it's because I'm withdrawing from cigarettes. So is the reason that I'm about to eat because I feel bad for some other reason? Is it because I feel sad or lonely or depressed or bored or angry or stressed? I don't know why I'm dancing like this. Is it because of a deeper problem? Am I trying to numb some deeper pain? If so, I have to accept to myself that, look, this piece of cake might taste nice, but it's not going to heal my emotional pain. It's not going to sort my mental health problems out. It's just going to provide me with a quick dopamine fix. So instead, I'm better off closing the fridge door, leaving that cake where it is, and taking serious action to address the way I'm feeling, whether that's talking to a friend or writing in my journal. And I can't recommend journaling enough. It has really helped me out over the years to address a lot of long-term problems just by dumping stuff out on the page. It could be that I need to walk away from the fridge and ask myself, do you know what, is now the time that I see a counsellor or a therapist? Is now the time that I look at maybe doing cognitive behavioural therapy or NLP or something like that to really sort of tackle these issues? Because if I'm feeling bad, if I'm feeling lonely or depressed or angry or in pain, no amount of cake in the world is going to fix that. And if it's not that, then is it that I'm actually genuinely hungry? And sometimes I'm not entirely sure, so what I'll do, I'll walk away from the fridge, go and sit down for 10 minutes. If after 10 minutes I feel exactly the same, and I feel that yes, the problem here is that I'm just hungry, and being hungry is okay. Okay, I can go back to the fridge and I can eat something. But I'm not going to eat that piece of cake, or those cookies, or that ice cream, or that pizza. I'm going to make some vegetables, something that is actually going to be healthy and good for me, and that will actually help me long term rather than just giving me a quick fix. I've shared in many videos before that sugary foods are not the best thing for us when we're quitting smoking or dealing with long-term problems. There's been research done that links a higher level of sugar intake to a higher level of depression, and plus we may get the temporary sugar high, but then we also get the crashing low that makes us feel even worse. Likewise with comfort foods, if we've got some emotional problems going on, some deep-seated long-term stuff, then eating comfort foods, it's like taking the aspirin when we've got acute appendicitis. It might bring us some short-term relief, but it does little to address the long-term pain and to get rid of the long-term problem. Of course, I appreciate that not everybody is as mentally and emotionally as messed up as I was. So that might not be the root cause of the weight gain. It might just be that small little changes are what's going to help. And I've tried to hold these off because I'm sure you're a grown-up. You don't need me to tell you that if you're concerned about weight gain, going outside and taking an extra walk or two, come and hang out with me by the water's edge. It's a little windy, but it's a beautiful day for a walk. Get outside, make little small changes to your diet, and of course drink plenty of water. I can't stress enough what a difference water will make. I think it's gonna rain pretty soon, so I'm gonna wrap this video up now and just say thank you very much for watching. I hope in some small way that this has helped with your journey. Please do let me know how you're getting on in the comments below. I do love hearing from you. As always, likes and shares are very much appreciated, and for more weekly videos like this, please do subscribe. Thank you very much for watching again. I will see you next week.